So let's try to figure out why Sam Bankman Fried secretly funded The Block and its CEO with $43 million via Alameda Capital. It seems like the only thing that FTX and Sam Bankman Fried was doing with customer funds is funding the media and its influencers so that they could have their way and that they can keep their Ponzi scheme going. We should shed the spotlight on small developing stories like this so it doesn't just get swept under the crypto rug. And if you're wondering what the crypto rug is, it's basically that thing that keeps getting pulled seemingly every single week by a different scam token, scam coin, or crazy crypto exchange that's nothing but a Ponzi scheme. What I would like to figure out is some of these loans that were given for these different day-to-day operations. We're going to see the exact breakdown. What was for funding the site? What was for funding the day-to-day operations? What was for buying property in the Bahamas for the CEO of The Block? That's ridiculous, with customer funds, allegedly. So we're going to take a look at that, and what I would really like to find out, and if you know, please mention in the comments, is what happens to this money. So for instance, these properties in the Bahamas, are they going to get seized and actually given back to the honest investors or the customers that were invested in FTX and used the platform and lost everything? Or is that something that it's like, oh, okay, it was bought with Ponzi scheme money, but Sam Bankman Fried, he signed legal letters to give him a loan, so now the Block has it. Also, it's a loan, so will the Block still have to pay it back now that FTX is going under and is bankrupt? I'm really curious to find out the answers to these things because $43 million, it's a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about almost 1/20th of $1 billion. And I'm sure the people that lost a lot of money, even if they're getting pennies on the dollar, dimes on the dollar, quarters on the dollar, every cent matters. And hopefully stuff like this will come to light and be investigated. And a lot of these funds can be seized back so that they could be given to their rightful owners. But without further ado, let's dive in and check out exactly what's going on with The Block, its CEO, and Alameda Capital, and how Sam Bankman Fried royally screwed this up even more for investors. So this article by CoinDesk titled Sam Bankman Fried's Alameda Research secretly funded crypto media site The Block and its CEO. Crypto media site The Block was secretly funded over the last 2 years by Sam Bankman Fried's Alameda Research. The Block confirmed on Friday. This is very interesting. So if you take a look here, this is The Block, and obviously now they're going to try to save face. So they have an article here saying Sam Bankman Fried arrested in the Bahamas on eve of congressional testimony, and this is great. But we also have to question why SBF was funding this company, where he basically gave him so much money, he was able to outright buy out all of the other investors and basically control it. What was his plan, or was his plan already enacted? Were they putting out really biased information? I never really read The Block. I remember seeing an article or two that I've glanced at, but I've never been a subscriber to theirs, and I've never really dived deep. If you have, please let me know if you feel that they were covering things in FTX's favor. And so if we read on, it says the Block CEO Michael McCaffrey immediately resigned after the loans came to light and will also step down from the Block's board. The company said no one at the company had any knowledge of the loans except for McCaffrey. And I call bullshit here because it sounds like they have a board, they have a C-suite. You're telling me, and we're about to read it in a second, but these loans for $15 million, the first loan was $12 million, that these loans are just coming in and their accounting department's like, oh, okay, another check for $15 million, and no one else is questioning where this money is coming from. But reading right along, it says, according to The Block, McCaffrey received 3 loans for a total of $43 million from 2021 through this year. And their accounting department was like, yep, just another $43 million, nothing new to see here. The first loan was for $12 million in 2021 to buy out other investors in the media company, at which time McCaffrey took over as CEO. So it sounds like SBF had a plan to put McCaffrey into a CEO position and basically have no other investors, so they were definitely scheming something, right? I mean, what is your opinion? Let me know in the comment section. The second was for $15 million in January to fund day-to-day operations. Jesus, $15 million. I mean, how huge of an operation is a site that basically puts out a bunch of crypto articles? I didn't realize it costs that much to run day-to-day operations. Interesting. And the third was for $16 million earlier this year for McCaffrey to purchase personal real estate in the Bahamas, according to the block. Oh, okay, so McCaffrey isn't running some sort of favors or some deals for SBF, and he simply just goes ahead and funds him $16 million for amazing real estate in the Bahamas. Something is going on here, and I don't want this news story to just get swept under the rug. There should be an extensive investigation into why McCaffrey was receiving all this money, why the block was receiving all this money, and also this is stolen investors' money. So should he give it back? Should his Bahamas properties be repossessed, or any money that was funded he should have to give back? Reading along, it says Bobby Moran, the block's chief revenue officer, will step into the role of CEO effective immediately, according to the report. Okay, so you're telling me that the chief revenue officer had no idea where $12 million and $15 million was coming from, and they didn't know it's Alameda Research? Now he is the CEO? Okay, so let's see what he says. No one at the block had any knowledge of this financial agreement besides Mike, Moran said in a statement. From our own experience, we have seen no evidence that Mike ever sought to improperly influence the newsroom or research teams, particularly in their coverage of SBF, FTX, and Alameda Research. Really, Mr. Moran? Is that really what's going on here? Or are you just trying to be careful and tiptoe around the fact that an investigation into the block can potentially land you in some hot water? Bankman Fried, known as SBF, is the founder and former CEO of FTX, a crypto exchange that filed for bankruptcy last month after CoinDesk revealed an unusually close relationship between FTX and Alameda, a trading firm affiliated with FTX. In a tweet thread on Friday, McCaffrey said that in early 2021, the company was in dire straits, and the only option that materialized was to secure a $12 million loan for his holding company from SBF. I'm sure there was no other way to get it. And why is SBF going around and handing out this money? Clearly, he didn't give some to CoinDesk, who's likely a competitor to the block, and that's why they're writing about this a lot, probably. But also, I'm glad they are, because people need to know. A lot of people probably rely on the block to get their cryptocurrency news, and it's clear that it's heavily biased in the favor of FTX or SBF, or there was at least some sort of motives there. And by the way, let's take a look at Michael McCaffrey's LinkedIn to see exactly when he joined and became the CEO of the block. So over here, it says that he came from Goldman Sachs 2013, and then it looks like there's a gap. So he didn't work for a couple of years, or at least he didn't put it on his LinkedIn. And the next time he has here is June 2017 to 2018, where he was working for Citi. And then after that, we see that he became Chief of Staff Director of Operations for the block. And this happened in September 2018. October 2019, he went ahead and got promoted to COO, it seems like. And then in April 2020, so for the last 2+ years, he was the CEO, which no longer is the case. So reading right along, they summarize what McCaffrey said in his tweets, and he said that he didn't disclose the loan nor a subsequent $15 million loan to anyone, since he didn't want knowledge of the loan to be seen as compromising the objectivity of the coverage of Bankman Fried and his companies. Yeah, that's why. And also, did SBF go ahead and help others out by getting properties in the Bahamas that worked at the block? Maybe, maybe not, but this should definitely be taken a look into, and with a really fine-tooth comb, and McCaffrey should definitely be investigated for this, in my personal opinion. McCaffrey added that he never attempted to influence coverage of FTX, Alameda, or SBF. Of course he would say that, because he obviously doesn't want to land in hot water. Frank Chaparro, an editor-at-large at the block, said in a tweet that he was gutted by this news, which was briefed to the company this afternoon, adding that McCaffrey kept every single one of us in the dark. And then it also says the block is a competitor to CoinDesk. And then it says, hey, Sam Bankman Fried, why didn't you give us millions of dollars? Why'd you choose the block? No, I'm joking, of course. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think of this news story. And do you think that the block, do you think that McCaffrey should go ahead and be investigated further to see exactly where this money went? And can some of this money be taken back and potentially given back to investors? Now, of course, a lot of the money that is going to sit with the FTX estate, it's obviously going to be eaten up by a bunch of suits, a bunch of lawyers. There's so much legal action that has to take place here, paperwork, and the lawyers charge like $1,000 an hour. I'm not joking around. You can find articles on it. It's insane. The lawyers are the ones that make all the money in bankruptcy filings and all this stuff. The people who lose out are the honest investors who went ahead, put some in because they trusted FTX, they trusted Sam Bankman Fried, and now they are left with nothing.